And good afternoon. This is the Elliott Wave daily update for the S&P 500 being recorded on Tuesday, August the 19th at 1:25 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I'm going to pick up pretty much where I left it on the intraday update this morning. And that was that the market had come down too far, and then it actually came down even further and officially negated that this could be a fourth wave of a smaller degree, particularly this blue one, sub minuet, because wave four overlapped wave one, so that negated that count and the labeling. So I went back, put it back the way that I had originally put it over the weekend, that the uh, minuet B wave was complete at last week's highs at 6508.75. And we were beginning that C wave down. And it started to get very congested. It's very difficult still to kind of figure out all the little subdivisions that's going on here. But I went through it again today, and I am now changing it just a little bit over what I presented even this morning. In that coming down in that minuet C wave, your first one and two are going to be of the sub-minuet degree. So there they are. And then it subdivides. And then it subdivides again. So inside of the third, inside of the sub-minuet wave three, we have two subdivisions. So there's going to be a little bit more to go before this third wave is complete. And we can now add, just to kind of get an estimate on what we think where this could come in, this particular third wave. And because of the length and the subdivisions, we can add several other layers. So what I'm going to do is put this in like this. And so I do it so that you can all see how I'm coming up with all of these crazy levels. And so we can all share. Um, So I'm thinking that 1.618 would be next because, of course, it's gone through all of that. So I can get rid of all that noise up above, and I can keep 1.618, and I actually can keep probably 2.618 if we get another heavy-duty down day, which we might. We might. Ahead of all this Jackson Hole speech, this symposium speech that uh, Powell is going to be giving on Friday. So we got a lot that we can kind of damage in the process. So let me put that up first. So here's out of this one where we can guesstimate where we think wave three on the subminuet degree will come in. But now I got two more that I can add. I can add, actually, this guy is the wrong color. Let me go back over there and go like this. I got to put these all in the right colors. This is going to be the subs, and this is going to be the subs. That one right there, say OK, say OK. So what we have is this is for the fourth wave coming back up. 0.382 is 64.41. We've gotten as high as 64.3650, and that may have done it, or we maybe need one more little move up, and that's why I'm leaving that 64.41 area available to kind of complete this four, and then we come back down in a fifth. And then what we would do is we would take wave one over to wave four, and we'll get that estimate for wave five. Now, what we also have is that this internal five down is completing the sub-minuet wave three. So it's completing this third wave coming down. So we can now add one additional uh, level. Oops, that didn't work. We have to start it from up here, down to there, back up to there. And now we're going to go in and do the same thing here. We're going to put it in the correct color. And then we have actually the correct color here as well. And now we've kind of got a little bit of a zone pinpointed, I may say, because we can take out all the noise above all of this, and we can now put in 2.618, I believe. Yes. So everything above it has already been taken care of. So the last one will be when we get this 4 complete, and we get signals that it is complete. And let me go down to that 15-minute chart. Sometimes it's a lot easier just to open it up. So here we are again. There's the top of the C, and then the minuet B wave is there. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, and this is actually going to go slightly higher. Slightly higher. All right, there you go. And then we have 1, 2, but then we have 3, looking for 4. 4 could be complete because there's the previous 4. Let me open this up a little bit more. You can see it's right there, the previous 4. And so we've already come up and just gotten above it. So we may be done here. Or we need A, B, 1, 2, 3, a little 4. We got to have one more high. So we're leaving it open that it could come up to 64.41. Not looking for too much more out of that before we come back down and start to finish this. If this is not the count, because this has been difficult, then I would be looking. I still believe we have additional downside before I can put that subminuet wave 3 on down here, get a little bit larger of a 4, and then come back down in that 5th. So I am looking for this particular third to finish up likely in here down to here. So that'll take care of this third, but this third may take it over. But if this one, if we come down and it finishes there, it's just going to be the internal third, which is going to leave us open for this level to finish that one. So you can see the method to my madness, so to speak, because I have the 1 and 2, and those correspond with this degree. And then I have 1, 2, and this corresponds for the third in this degree. And then I have this one down as once this comes down and finishes, hopefully within here, it's going to also be the third, and then we have another 4, and then a 5 to come down and finish this third. So I'm believing that it's going to end up closer to here. And again, as each one finishes, we can add another layer for downside to put it in. So again, if this 4 is complete, or if we get a little bit more out of it, and now what would break it is we kind of go up and cross over there, because I'm thinking that that is wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that puts in that third. With a 4 cannot overlap that wave 1. So not looking for it to go above 60, 64.53. If it does, I got to back it out and I have to redo it. Likely. I'm not sure how just yet because I think it is subdividing down, and that's certainly how it acted today. Um, so let's see how this all kind of finishes up. I think they're just kind of trying to get away from the day and be done. So they still have about 29 minutes to trade, but now they're kind of really just leaving it pretty much in a very tight area, actually around the point of control here in for the Nasdaq, and in the S&P, it's above the point of control, but that might flip up into that area. But it's very tight right now and not really moving too far anywhere. So we will take it from there in the S&P. Now this guy needs to kind of come up a little bit. Sorry, but you see, I am a perfectionist. There we go. That brings it up to 6,400, which is great because guess what? 6,400, it's likely going to be still a spot gamma level. And I think it is large gamma 2 to be exact. So, but that would be in the SPX. And if it gets under 6,400 in the ES, it's already broken it via the SPX. Interesting. So again, I still think we are in this C wave. And as I had discussed, it could be very fast. We could be down here very quickly, even towards Friday's expiration. We have a couple of really strong days. We can't forget this was July the 31st. This was August the 1st. So it was just like one, two, and done. So one, two, and done. And it was going to be bigger, but still, if we come down to 62.78, then wave C would be equal to wave A, but we have to take into consideration the irregular nature of that B wave. So we're looking for minimally down into here. So it may take a little bit longer since we're still inside the three. If I can get the three down to here and the four, and then it's likely going to be that five, like this one, that will just extend hard. Like this one was an internal third that extended. So this was the three of the three of the three. That's what that one was. And so that's probably the largest, and we'll come up and we'll come back down, and we'll come up and come back down. Finish it, go back up, come back down in that fifth. So, and that's the one I think can really just take the market all the way down to where we need it to be. I have to be honest with you, I want it at least a little bit below this A wave. The market may or may not do it. So, there are things that just trigger and bring it back. But let's see how. And the other thing that I want to talk about today, and I'm going to do that right now, is that the spot gamma levels got annihilated today, basically. And if I'm looking here in the SPX, and we got to think about where we started from, which was this morning, we got up to 64.76 just after the opening. So 64.76 was, let me just kind of bring this in. We had not yet, but overnight, as I discussed this morning, overnight, we had gone down and we were testing 64.71 in here. We had tested and broke, went up, recaptured it. That was large gamma 3, 65.21, which was higher overnight. Actually, we broke it yesterday. So, and because I would have been up here. But so the next one down from 65.21, which is large gamma 2, and the call wall had been broken yesterday. So we were already working on that, but then we needed to get down and break through large gamma 3, which we did. And then on top of that, we went through the volatility trigger, which was at 64.66, which we did. Then we went through the put wall at 64.56, which we did. We broke it. So that's, 64.56. So that's up in here that we broke the put wall. And then at 64.32, it was zero gamma, which is that area where we're trading just now at that area. That's where the gamma starts to shift from the positive back over to the negative. And so we by going through all of these levels, we see that in motion. And so what came up next and actually got triggered, but it stopped, was 64.21, which was large gamma 4. So in essence, what came into play today was large gamma 3 overnight, large volatility trigger, put wall, zero gamma, and large gamma 4. So basically, if we had gone through large gamma 4 and not stopped, but continued to just slide, which I think we can. So first of all, it's going to be interesting because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of adjustment going on to where these levels are going to have been moved to. So a lot of trading today, and we're going to get everything will be revised, of course, come tomorrow. At least that's my expectation. So we will see. 6,400 remains in the SPX an important level because it is gamma 4, large gamma 4. And so it got down there, it tested it, got down there, it tested it. It actually closed nicely away from it at 64.11. Not that, we have to wait until tomorrow morning when the market reopens. But I mean, if we continue lower and we gap, it's gone. it'll be taken out. So we'll see, and actually see it may already have been moved. So it's going to be interesting to see what our levels are going to be for tomorrow. Over in the spiders, we saw kind of the same thing. The spiders finished at 639, 85. And so prior to all of that, let me just see what the range was in the, nope. Oh, God. All right, get rid of that. Let's go here. In the spiders, our range today was 643, and the low is 638. So 644, high 638. So what we have in between there at 643 was large gamma 4 that kind of got tested and then broken. And then we had 642 with zero gamma and also the volatility trigger, and that got broken early. So back over to the chart, and we're going to look for 642. So that was like above here where we have resistance. And when that got broken, let me come down to that 15-minute. I keep forgetting you guys can't see it as clearly as I can. And then let's bring this back up a little bit. So 642 right in here. So you can see it slid. We bounced a little bit to try to get back above it, and then we slid all the way. And that took it out. And here was the test of 64.21. We rallied up off of that, trying to get back to above 42, and then slid down to 64.19, which was the low. And then rallied back above 22 or 21 or 642 actually. And then this level, and then we moved. So in the spiders, yeah, it broke a lot. And it broke the volatility trigger, and it broke large gamma 1. And so the next up for it would be the put wall, which I'll see if it still is sitting there at 635, and then large gamma 3 is at 630. Those were the levels for today. So overall, in the S&P, that in the whole complex there, it was coming through and coming down through a lot of gamma levels and the volatility trigger. So a lot of things got kind of picked off today. And just on a volatility basis, I have been looking for a little bit of a spike up in vol this week. Not a whole lot, like maybe 18, 19, maybe 18, as high as 20. So I think we still have one more day where it's going to get pushed. Now, tomorrow is a VIX expiration. So, um, okay, we've got more coming off. We're in the September contract, but there's a little bit more that's going to be expiring tomorrow. And so that happens on the opening. So we got to see what's going to happen overnight and where this is going to end up. And so we could spike again a little bit going into the next expiration. So that would also fit with what we're looking for here as well. So now taking a look at economic calendars for Wednesday, we just have the Fed Governor Christopher Waller will be speaking. Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic will be speaking. But at 2 p.m., minutes of the Federal Reserve July FOMC meeting are revealed. It's like, I'm not sure it's going to be as a surprise, but it has been known it has the possibility of moving the markets. So that's it for tomorrow, and it's Thursday where we have a little bit of a congestion. We have initial jobless claims, Philly Fed manufacturing, S&P flash, U.S. services and U.S. manufacturing PMIs, and existing home sales are on, and U.S. leading economic indicators are all on Thursday. Friday, Fed Chair Jerome Powell speaks from Jackson Hole. That's at 10 a.m. on Friday. The only thing scheduled for Friday. It's all his. So I think that the market, actually, the anticipation from the market was that we're just going to hit a very tight range until Friday. Well, that got broken apart today. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. And then on Friday, we might sit and hesitate and wait until we know what's going to be in that speech. Okay, so that's going to be it for the S&P. And moving averages, let me move out to the hourly. Well, we got the 8 below the 200 on the hourly. We got the 20 coming down to it, and the 50 now absolutely turning lower, both heading lower, 20 getting a little bit sharper. And the 8 kind of just cresting, acknowledging that little rally right there. So on the daily, I still think it's probably not really being too harshly affected. And here it is. Again, that 8 having a little trouble because now the market is closed below it and heading for the 20. So I would suspect if we have continued weakness, this is going to turn, this will turn, this will go flat, and so will this. So we'll see. We'll see how this all turns out. Okay, next update will be tomorrow morning.